25 laps, but it didn't come easy as Dalton Wilson got the early advantage.
And Bobby took over, was running away with it. They got into traffic. Again, it went caution-free. And here comes Max Blair. We see him there. He got the lead lap 18, but going into turn 1 and 2, drifted up. See the battle there, 3 wide with Shepard, Wilson, and Moran. But an entertaining battle, 3 different leaders in that race. Shepard made it close at the end. He comes home in second, but Max Blair, man, he had a good hot rod, DJ, but came home in third after leading a lap.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier where he slipped up the racetrack is there was a little strip of rubber on the bottom of the racetrack. Max found it just about a lap or 2 before anyone else did, and the end result was BP32 getting the win, and the Pierce train rolls on as he's now won the Prairie Dirt Classic. He won the USA Nationals, he won the North South 100, won the World 100. He has never won this race, though. Is this the year that the driver out of Oakwood, Illinois, finally gets it done? 2
preliminary wins here in his career now at Knoxville, looking for that big win on a Saturday night. 33 wins this year for Bobby Pierce.
And he will start on the pole here this evening, as we mentioned. Devin Moran and Tim McCready will start from row 2, and then Hudson O'Neal and Max Blair will start from row 3. So, again, McCready and Hudson O'Neal locked into that battle for the 4th and final Big River Steel Championship position. And those drivers are going to be starting 4th and 5th. McCready starting the outside of row 2 and Hudson O'Neal starting on the inside. Well, they have called the Malvern Bank Late Model Series to the staging lane. They're going to pack the track for a few laps first. And so we will allow them to do that. And so as those drivers have made their way to the staging lane, we crisscross some vehicles into the infield. We're going to go ahead and step aside for a final set of commercial breaks. And we come back, our good friend Anthony Ainsley, the voice of the Malvern Bank Late Model Series, will be on to let you know who the cars are on the Speedway. Don't go anywhere. It's the final night of racing action here in the 20th Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals. You're watching it all live on MAV TV on FloRacing.
We are back in southern Iowa, Knoxville, Iowa to be exact. Welcome back. The third and final day of the 20th annual Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals presented by Your Life Iowa. My name is Anthony Ainsley, joining on here with the Malvern Banks Super Late Model Series, our third to last race of the 2024 season. Right now, some track packing is going on. Looks like they've called all the Malvern Banks Series drivers out here. A few of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series regulars coming out here to help get the racing surface in order right now. As you can see, a few of our racers are on the track ready to go before tonight's action. Of course, the Malvern Banks Series bringing you the Bob and Marcia Moshman Memorial here at the Knoxville Raceway. 6th time all-time that the Malvern Banks Series has been here to the Knoxville Raceway. Of course, Justin Zeitner, he was your defending winner of this race. Of course, Jesse Sobbing, he was your winner here actually 2 years ago. And right now, we see a few of our drivers on the screen on FloRacing right now. Right now, you see Brian Kaziski on the FloRacing broadcast. Brian, one of our West Series regulars, coming to us from Papillion, Nebraska for this weekend. Brian driving the Dirt Track Bank Imperial Tile TV & Company Stumpy's Custom Creations number 52, heading off of turn 2 right now. Good to see a number of them. I believe 25 Malvern Banks Super Late Models in the house tonight. There's a couple more of our drivers. He's the only 2-time winner of this event. He is the defending West Series champion. That's Tad Pospischel in the 04. Tad driving the Signer Trucking, Window World, Iron Horse, CPA's, Dietz Well and Pump 106 Kicks Radio number 04. And making his first Moshman Memorial appearance, that'll be the 11X of Ton Barry Jr. coming to us from Des Moines, Iowa by way of Medford, Oregon. Barry driving the Ashton Brenner Heavy Hauler, Kirk Beckler Enterprises, Pat's Auto Salvage number 11X. You see Dave Eckridge on your screen right now, the Oxford, Iowa driver. In the Precision Performance, Mac Tools, Allen Sear and Construction number 58. Again, Eckridge, a former points runner-up with the East Series. Then you see the Marquette Missile, Kyle Burke out of Marquette, Nebraska. Kyle Burke driving the Speedy Mart Aurora Co-op Strobel Manufacturing Grease Truck Wash number 14. Tyler Bruning to his outside again. Bruning, that is actually the backup car that they're using tonight. Of course, Tyler, he's not going to be running in the Malvern Bank portion of the program, although they've been they unloaded that car and got it set up for tonight. Of course, they still have the Fireball Roberts throwback scheme. And there's your West Series point leader, Bill Layton Jr. out of La Vista, Nebraska. The Taylor Quick Pick, Duros Networks, Wrights, Feed Yards, Collins Home Creations, Mark Wright owned 24. It's been a great season so far for that team. So far, they got the Blueberry Rocket out tonight. Kind of been off and on between the what I call the Blueberry and then the Black Cherry Rocket. Jeff Segabart out here from Westside, Iowa. You'll see him on your screen driving the Holly Crop Insurance, Element Graphic Designs, Adams Motor Company, Krawcheck Enterprises number 5S. Again, Segabart, one of our normally our West Series regulars on the Malvern Bank Tour. There's your defending East Series champion, and now currently sitting third in both the East and the West Series standings. That is Chad Holliday out of Muscatine, Iowa. Chad driving the Holiday Trucking, Hans Construction, Ellsworth Trucking, Liberty Realty, Artie's Pub and Grill, Dr. Keith Stanley, number 32C. Also on the track, you see Hollywood Jason Haney going into turn number 1. Haney coming to us from Webster City, Iowa. He drives the Nearing Construction, Carl Chevrolet, McFarland Paint Clinic, Gerber Auto, Jerry Goebel, State Farm, Steiner Heating and Cooling, number 76. Right now, Haney currently sitting 4th in the East Series standings. Corey Zeitner on your screen, the driver out of Bennington, Nebraska. The Zeitner & Sons Transport, Monster Graphics, Clark's Lawn Care, XR1 Rocket, number 26 Junior. Zeitner is still looking for that first win on the Malvern Bank Tour this year. Liam has not won since the season finale last year at the Adams County Speedway. We'll be heading out there a couple weeks from tonight for the Pumpkin Dash. There is our E-Series points leader. That'll be Andy Eckridge out of Oxford, Iowa. Andy driving in the Precision Performance, Stutzman Ag Solutions, Automatic Performance Bodies, Black Diamond, number 56. And right behind him, that has been the big surprise on the day. Driving the Alan Cooney throwback scheme right behind Andy Eckridge, that is Curtis Glover from right here in Knoxville, Iowa. That is going to be the 1983 Alan Cooney throwback scheme in the number 30. Curtis Glover in the Allen Seamless Gutters, Dewdrop Inn, Baskin-Robbins Ice Cream, Woodruff Construction, Pete's Lounge, Carl Chevrolet, number 30. A big shout out to Alan for helping out Curtis and the team for that scheme. A gorgeous looking ride. See a few of our Lucas Oil guys out there, Jonathan Houston and Blair Nordorf. And then you see our West Series Rookie of the Year point leader. That'll be Jake Bridge. Jake coming to us from Waverly, Nebraska, driving the I-80 Farms, Outback Fenton Stain, Diamond J Custom Services, Cody Callan Motorsports, Rick Honeycutt owned number 1. And then you see the now the Boone Super Nationals winner for the late models and the modifieds, currently sitting second in the East standings. That is going to be Dylan Thornton out of Orcutt, California. Now calls Keystone, Iowa home. Dylan Thornton driving the Peterson Insurance, Kai Farms Elevators, Madsen Trucking, Vanderheiden Trucking, Hoker Trucking, Pit Crew Barbecue, number 38T. Been a great run for this driver in his inaugural campaign with the Series 2A feature wins, including the season opener at Stewart. And there you see one of the Lucas Oil Rookie of the Year contenders right beside him, that being Corey Lawler. And of course, again, Corey not going to be part of the Malvern Bank portion of the program. He'll be trying to punch his ticket into the Knoxville Late Model Nationals A main later on. There you see another one of our drivers, Kurt Schroeder out of Newton, Iowa. Schroeder driving the Kurt Schroeder CPA, Pre-Owned Autos of Des Moines, Jet Drain Services, CRP Services, Ball Excavating and Plumbing, number 15C. And right in front of him, that'll be the Ironman Daryl DeFrance out of Marshalltown, Iowa. That'll be Daryl driving the In Memory of Bob Moshman Trucking, Rumor Sports Bar, Hay Construction, Arnold Motor Supply, Action Auto Parts, Area Installations, Dixie Chassis, number 99D. I believe Daryl, the only Dixie chassis in the field this evening between both late model classes. I believe I see Charlie McKenna going into the pit area as well. He drives the My Yield Sea Treaters, number 20. Jake Neal behind him in the Al Humphrey Motorsports, number 6. Chris Speaker also heading into the pits as well, driving the Car Asset Management, number 56 out of Messina, Iowa. A few more of our Malvern Bank regulars heading in as well. JC Wyman, I believe currently sitting 5th in the West Series point standings going into tonight, the driver out of Griswold, Iowa. The guy behind him sitting 4th in the point standings in the West Series. That'll be Andrew Kaziski out of La Vista, Nebraska. So the Malvern Bank Super Late Model drivers are going to make their way back into the pit area. They'll be out a little bit later on. In the meantime, I believe the B feature cars for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series are going to be staying out there. They're going to get first crack at this newly reworked surface. All these drivers still trying to punch their tickets in to the 20th annual Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals A main event. There you see Jimmy Owens there on your screen at the 20. Of course, that car was missing a nose last night after a run-in with the turn 1 guardrail during heat race action last night. And they did not make the B main last night, but good to see Jimmy Owens. They got the nose repaired, and it looks like we're just about ready to get hot laps underway again to get a great feel of the cars on hand. I think before too long we'll get the first green flag laps on. There's Tyler Bruning. That is the Fireball Roberts throwback scheme on that number 16. A gorgeous look right there again. Bruning had the backup car out on the track earlier as well. They swapped it over. And like before too long, I think James and Dustin will get back on here, tell you a little bit more about the who's who and the what's what for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series as we continue to keep an eye on this racetrack as it gets packed in and ready to go. Like I mentioned before, there's Corey Lawler in the 93 machine, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders for the Lucas Oil Series.
4 not already in the show, Anthony. We'll have some provisionals tonight. They would be eligible. Brendan Smith right now, who starts second. Jimmy Owens, Clay Harrison, Corey Lawler, the 4 not yet in. So again, we've got 24 locked in after the last 2 nights. We'll take 6 out of the 1B main. The car's on the racetrack, the 48 Brimfield, Illinois driver Tim Lance. There's the 62, the Schweitzenhorn. That is Justin Zeitner.
You really like saying that.
Schweitzenhorn. How about Billy Moyer and Skip Arp last night? And we thrown back to 1995, right? Congratulations to those guys.
Partying like it's 19. That was at 853 career wins now for Moyer.
Something like that.
Right.
Very impressive. There's Aaron Morant in the 1X. Currently leading the Lucas Oil MLRA points. There's the veteran Bernard Coover Jr.
Yes.
Coover, Norfolk, Nebraska.
Yes.
There's Tim Lance. You mentioned him. Former draft. He was a free safety. But he didn't make it out of training camp, though.
Really?
No, with the Bears. But he went to Eastern Illinois. We talked about him. He was down here yesterday. I think he was working. Went back to Digital Copy Systems there outside of Peoria. And Lance back tonight. There's Blair Nodorth. Was that his second Tri-State Late Model title here?
2 of those. He's got 2
in 2024.
2 runners up in that series, yeah.
Jerry Van Sickle is here. How many track titles does he have in Marshalltown? Does he have any?
My second home track.
You are.
I live
One
just
sport
down the
mine.
road.
You know what the zip code is there?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say it to everybody at home. I don't want anybody to find out where
It's not like it's your social security number.
Oh, well, that's true. That is
It's
true.
like your password 1234, right?
That's what, I still know your password, by the way, for
I need to get on Dirt Draft.
So.
I had the Burkhofer family the other night. Dave, I had Brian and Alyssa.
Good,
Crude.
it's a good field. It's a good field. So Marshalltown 50158, by the way. Yes, I do. So I
Creed
do
and
know it.
Cruz, yes. Tyler Bruning nearly won this race a couple of years ago. He has never won a national touring sanctioning body race. And is that Jonathan Houston got on the wall, the Columbus Junction, Iowa driver, who will start in this B main coming up here in a little bit, 13th. Again, 14 cars will be starting. It'll be 15 laps. We'll take the top 6, and that'll get us to 30, and then we'll have the provisionals for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series after that. Again, Brandon Smith. Actually, it's Jimmy Owens in line first, then Clay Harris, Brendan Smith, and then Corey Lawler, DJ.
Absolutely. So that was just one hot lap session right there. That's it for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and I believe we will roll right back into hot laps for the Malvern Bank late models before they have their dual. Actually, this will be a dual hot lap qualifying session for the Malvern Bank late models, if I'm not mistaken.
Welcome back, Anthony.
Our good friend Anthony Ainsley going to hop back on and join us here. And hot lap qualifying, right, for the Malvern Bank Super Late Model Series this year.
Yep, that is.
Or tonight.
That is correct, Dustin. Just like what we had with the Stock Car Crown Series last night. So I do want to apologize for one of the drivers out there. I believe that was not Tyler Bruning in that red and black 16. Kind of a last minute addition. That is Jeff Eike behind the wheel.
Oh my, breaking news.
The Hall of Famer Jeff Eike.
The veteran Jeff Eike.
The wily veteran Jeff Eike.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
He'll be driving Bruning's backup car. Looks like they're going to get the green flag back on for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series for, looks like another crack at the Speedway, guys.
Again, Dirt Draft Hot Laps. If you didn't already sign up, go to, make sure you do that. Go to Dirt Draft, get the app. You pick your top 5 in tonight's A main, get $100,000 in play money, Anthony. You know that, right? Pick your top 5. Whoever it is, you could be a winner here tonight. It's a good, fun time to have. Dustin Jarrett coming off his win at Eldora, right?
That's a thank you.
Jared,
thank you.
Jared undefeated for the month of September, by the way.
He didn't have the birthday bias, did he?
Not at all. Jeff Eike. I'm still by Jeff Eike behind the wheel of the 16. Yes. Do you know how many Boone Super Nationals late model championships Eike has, James?
I would guess 9.
Close. 7. He's got 7.
I was close.
Yeah.
How many wins does Justin Zeitner have this year? He's had a pretty good year.
Yeah, he has. Justin Zeitner, an 8-time winner this year. By the way, he's made this race twice.
He won this race, and he's won the Moshman Memorial last year.
Oh, my.
He's going to start 4th in this B main coming up here in a little bit.
I know he was telling me earlier today.
Tyler Bruning right now, 19,401. Well, Anthony, you were here a couple of years ago on that Sunday afternoon. Tyler Bruning he's never won a National Touring Series race, whether it's been Outlaws or Lucas, and he nearly won. He was 3 laps short a couple years ago. Remember that race we had? It was an afternoon race. We had cloud cover for most of the race, and the sun came out and changed the track, and Jonathan Davenport was able to get around Tyler Bruning there at the end.
Absolutely. I mean, Dustin and I were talking about that earlier today, and we were also talking about how Bobby Pierce's car was acting compared to his Pierce chassis that he had out here a few years ago when Jimmy Owens won it. But yeah, that was quite a run there. I think we were all pulling for that 16 of Bruning to win that race, but Davenport just doing Davenport things out here on the big tracks. He's a specialist on these tracks, and that very same day, I mean, Kyle Berg had the race very well in hand until a cut tire sent him into the turn 2 barricade and allowed Jesse Sobbing to pick up the A feature win in the Moshman Memorial on that same day.
But how about the great history of this race? 14 different drivers have won here, the Saturday night Knoxville Late Model Nationals. But no driver has led every lap of the feature since it began in 2004. The average lead change in this race on Saturday night is 5. 5 lead changes. Last night we had 3 in that 25 lapper last night. So 5 lead changes, and if you're leading with 10 laps to go, it doesn't guarantee you anything. It's sort of like the North-South did for years, DJ. you're not guaranteed until you get that checkered flag. So looking forward tonight. Got a lot of candidates looking for their first win here in Knoxville.
It's unofficial until it becomes official.
Right.
Hey, do want to let everyone know, of course, a new record last night for the Grilled Cheese Nationals. Over 1,000 grilled cheese sandwiches made last night. So shout out to the fine folks from 34 Raceway, Hooker Trucking, Johnson Holding Company, all had a big part in that. And
how many did Hooker have?
I ask him. I don't know how many.
He had as many cars as he sponsors, so that would be pretty good. Hey,
it's a lot of grilled cheese.
People like Jeff Hooker, Brett Coltman, Ed Petroff.
Yeah.
You can, Scott Coleman, of course, with Big River Steel. You go on, Steve Martin, Nutrient Ag Solutions. Hey, those are the people that keep this sport alive, right, with helping out with sponsorships and stuff. And of course, we have in our own Iowa, of course, Johnny Johnson for many years, guys, J&J Steel and all that, and was a big sponsor. And of course, it's hard to believe, Anthony, that the only Iowan to ever win this race was Brian Burkhofer, who won it twice, and that memorable one with Bloomquist there. That was the best interview I think I did on stage with Brian Burkhofer that night.
I think you and Brian were both in tears.
We both were in tears because he announced at a press conference, I believe, that week that was going to be it. Of course, he came back a couple of years after that, but man, that was the loudest I've ever heard the crowd here. At Knoxville was that night.
And deservedly so. And definitely it's going to be a fun one to see how everything is shaking out. Of course, I mentioned we were talking about how Bobby Pierce's car was going to react. Of course, last time he was here when he was running down Jimmy Owens for that Knoxville Nationals win, Pierce unfortunately could not get off the top lane. He was trying to close in on Owens. He would gain on him, and then when he tried to throw a slider in either turn 1 or turn 3, just did not have the momentum to carry it through, and that's what ultimately helped Jimmy Owens secure one of his Knoxville Nationals titles. Well, right now we're getting into qualifying time trial / hot laps for the Malvern Banks Super Late models. I believe top 6 in our groups will be inverted throughout the evening here in our group qualifying sessions. First car on the racetrack will be the driver out of Sherrill, Iowa. That is Jeff Tharp in the Calco Spray Coatings, Donnie's Cafe, Sedbrooks Auto Care, Tri-State Cremation Center, Hollander Insurance Pro-Powered Rocket number 10T. You see him on the back stretch. Chad Holliday also back out there out of Muscatine, Iowa in the Holiday Trucking Hunts Construction Jim Shepard Powered Longhorn. Charlie McKenna out there as well, the driver out of Ames, Iowa. McKenna in the My Yield Seed Treaters Christie Door Company, Dirt Track Bank Shore Motor Company, McKenna Innovations Group, Vic Hill Powered MB Custom, number 22. Daryl DeFrance in the 99D out of Marshalltown, Iowa there. Jeff Eike out there as well in the Bruning Rock Products, Bennett Explosives Truck Country Longhorn, number 16A. We are ready to get qualifying underway with the Malvern Banks Super Late Models Series here at the Moshman Memorial at Knoxville Raceway. And we'll try to get qualifying times to you as soon as they become available through the My Race Pass app. Meanwhile, Kurt Schroeder also out there, the driver out of Newton, Iowa, in the Kurt Schroeder CPA and Pre-Owned Autos of Des Moines, Jet Train Services number 15C. Jeff Segabard also out there in the 5S out of Westside, Iowa. Segabard in the Holly Crop Insurance Element Graphic Design Adams Motor Company number 5S. You see a good shot there of Jeff Eike on your screen. Of course, Tyler Bruning, he drove to a second place finish here in the Moshman Memorial a few years back. I believe the second ever running of the Moshman Memorial here at Knoxville. Bruning finished second to his fellow Iowa driver Jason Rowan that night here at Knoxville Raceway. Good to see Jeff Eike out there in the 16A. Speaking of Eike, he is on top of the board right now. As you can see, a 19.053. Holiday goes to second at a 19.229. Daryl DeFrance going third at a 19.240. Kurt Schroeder will be fourth at a 19.267. Charlie McKenna, your top 5 at a 19.325. Jeff Tharp is sixth, and Jeff Segabart rounding out the field in session number 1. Yeah, all the stars are coming out here at the Knoxville Raceway. Our good buddy Jerry Van Sickle from the Marshalltown Speedway. Of course, we had a thrilling race up there with the Malvern Banks Series at the Dale DeFrance Memorial. I believe the week after the Silver Dollar Nationals up at Huset's. We were down in Marshalltown, had a great show there between Justin Kai and Dave Eckridge. Unfortunately, we didn't get Kai in the field tonight, but Dave Eckridge will be in the field. Next group of cars on the speedway, the young gun who picked up his first ever win with the Tour a couple weeks back at Mason City Motor Speedway, rolling out from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That is going to be the Horn Automotive XR1 Rocket number 01. That's CJ Horn. CJ Horn in car number 01 you see on the speedway. Second car in line is going to be JC Wyman out of Griswold, Iowa. He drives the Clean Car Center, Wyman Bodyworks, Shore Motor Company, GW Performance, Griswold American Newspapers and Printing, JD Wyman Powered Longhorn number 4. Then you see Jake Neal out of Omaha, Nebraska, the Todd's Body and Glass, Joyce Agronomics, Back 40 Decals, Hess Technologies, Al Humphrey Motorsports, Scott Bailey Powered XR1 Rocket number 6. Tad Pospischel also out here, the only two-time winner of this event here in Knoxville, the driver out of Norfolk, Nebraska, the Signer Trucking, Window World, Iron Horse, CPA, Steeds, Well and Pump, 106 Kicks Radio, SNS Graphics, Scott Bailey Powered Longhorn number 04. Curtis Glover out here from Knoxville, Iowa as well. Glover driving the Alan Cooney throwback scheme in the Allen Seamless Gutters, Dewdrop Inn, Baskin Robbins Ice Cream, Woodruff Construction, Pete's Lounge, Carl Chevrolet number 30. Dylan Silman also on the speedway from Albo, Nebraska, the SNS Welding, Strike Farms, Corn Grower State Bank, Dirt Track Bank, Scott Bailey Powered Rocket, number 35D. All cars officially on the clock now. JC Wyman currently sitting 5th in the West Series point standings. Tad Pospischel currently 2nd in the West Series standings. Pospischel, the most recent winner on the Tour, picked up a win in the inaugural Stuart Alley Memorial last weekend over at the Eagle Raceway in Eagle, Nebraska. Actually make that about 2 weeks ago when he scored the win. First lap coming on for JC Wyman at 19.492. Horn goes second at a 19.069. And now Pospischel to the top at an 18.772. First lap coming for Dylan Silman. He'll go 8th at a 19.294. Laps continuing. Curtis Glover at 21.229 for his first lap. Second lap for Pospischel, not going to be better. He'll stay at an 18.772. That's good for fastest. Silman to second now at an 18.830. So last year's West Series Rookie of the Year, now number 2 at an 18.83, but it's all behind the 18.772 set by Tad Pospischel there in session at number 2. Group number 3 about ready to head out onto the speedway, and the first car to out will be sitting 4th in the West Series standings. That'll be Andrew Kosiski out of La Vista, Nebraska, driving the A1 Crash Cars, Kosiski Auto Parts, Zimbrata Drivetrain, Connors Fight, Al Bell Custom Homes, Xander Enterprises, Pro Powered Longhorn by Wells, number 53. Right behind him will be Tom Berry Jr., driver out of Des Moines, Iowa, by way of Medford, Oregon, the Ashton Brenner Heavy Hauler, Kirk Beckler Enterprises, Pat's Auto Salvage, Quam Trucking, Ike Auto Salvage, Red's Limo Service, Hallibuilt Powered Rocket, number 11X. Third car in line will be Jake Bridge out of Waverly, Nebraska, the I-80 Farms, Outback Fence and Stain, Diamond J Custom Services, Cody Callan Motorsports, Precision Performance, Kevin Stowe Powered Swartz Chassis, number 1. Bridge, the only Swartz chassis in the field this evening. Chris Speaker, 4th car in line, the driver out of Messina, Iowa. He drives the Car Asset Management, Side Bite Specialist, Erickson Construction, Lefty's Pump and Plumbing, Schaefer Welding, Hapes Design, Shepard Powered Rocket, number 56. Brian Kosiski out there, the driver out of Papillion, Nebraska. In the Dirt Track Bank, Imperial Tile, TV and Company, Stumpy's Custom Creations, Kosiski Auto Parts, Al Bell Custom Homes, Slick Machine Powered Longhorn, number 52. And Jason Haney, the last car in this group, out of Webster City, Iowa. The Nearing Construction, Carl Chevrolet, McFarland Pain Clinic, Gerber Auto, Jerry Goebel State Farm, Stein Heating and Cooling, Shepard Powered Rocket, number 76. Andrew Kosiski, so far, won a feature win on the Tour this year. That came on the East Series at the Maquoketa Speedway in Maquoketa, Iowa. Brian Kosiski, of course, he has been strong as of late, picking up a couple of top 5 finishes back in the state of Nebraska last several rounds. Cars now starting to become live on the clock here at the Knoxville Raceway. Andrew Kosiski, he's finished in the top 5 in the past here at the Knoxville Raceway with the Malvern Bank Series. First coming up for AK in the Kosiski throwback car. 3rd at an 18.859. First lap for TBJ coming up. Barry goes 11th at a 19.281. Meanwhile, Jake Bridge goes to 7th at a 19.185. Speaker going in at 19.550. Brian Kosiski at 19.571. Second lap for Kosiski is better. He'll stay 3rd at an 18.837. Bridge jumps to 5th at a 19.027. Tom Berry goes to 9th at a 19.219. Chris Speaker, he'll improve at a 19.550. Meanwhile, Jason Haney, he will stay at a 19.352. That is 14th fastest. So Andrew Kosiski, the fastest in that group. He's third fastest overall. Still Tad Pospisil on top of the order at an 18.772. Next down on the track, both the West and the East Series points leaders are next up. First up will be the West Series point leader out of La Vista, Nebraska. That is Bill Layton Jr., the Taylor Quick Pick, Duros Networks, Wright Speed Yards, Collins Home Creations, 5-Star Truck Center, Barker Grading, Scott Bailey Powered Rocket, number 24. Behind him will be Andy Eckridge out of Oxford, Iowa, in the Precision Performance, Stutzman Nash Solutions, Automedic, Performance Bodies, Hallibuilt Racing Engines, Black Diamond Chassis, number 56. Dave Eckridge behind Andy out of Oxford in the Precision Performance, Mac Tools, Allen Searing Construction, Performance Bodies, Leading Edge Designs, Hallibuilt Powered Black Diamond, number 58. Also, we got Dylan Thornton out of Santa Maria, California, the Lone Warrior chassis in the field, the Peterson Insurance, Kai Farms Elevators, Madsen Trucking, Vanderheiden Trucking, Hoker Trucking, Hallibuilt Racing Engines, 38T. Also on the Speedway, we got Corey Zeitner out of Bennington, Nebraska, the Zeitner Sons Transport, Monster Graphics, Clark's Lawn Care, Jim Shepard Powered Rocket, number 26 Junior, and Kyle Burke, the 7-time series champion out of Marquette, Nebraska, in the Speedy Mart, Aurora Co-op, Strobel Manufacturing, Grease Truck Wash, Snap-on, KD Tools, Stevens Brothers Bison Farms, number 14. So all cars officially on the clock now here for session number, our fourth and final session here at the Knoxville Raceway for the Moshman Memorial. First lap will be coming up for Bill Layton Jr. Been a stellar year, the current points leader. They have currently 36 points over Tad Pospisil going in. First lap for Layton will be 10th at a 19.229. First lap for Andy Eckridge will be coming up. Eckridge will be, looks like Dave Eckridge will be at a 19.400. Dylan Thornton at 19.374. Meanwhile, Andy Eckridge trying to see if his transponder was working. Looks like it is, a 19.762. Meanwhile, Kyle Burke is up to 7th at a 19.069 on lap number 1. See if everyone is able to improve or not. Layton, a 19.178 will be his mark. Kyle Burke will stay 7th at a 19.069. So I believe that will wrap up qualifying time trials for the Malvern Bank Super Late Models Series. Race fans, give it up. Tonight's #1 qualifier clocking in at 18.772 seconds. That is the defending West Series champion, Tad Pospisil. Well, with that, I think we're ready to get into opening ceremonies. We'll be coming back after a brief pause for the cause. You're watching the final night of the 20th Annual Lucas Oil Late Model Nationals presented by Your Life Iowa. The start of the final show, ready to go. Don't go away.
Is your ride barking? Is it leaving messes where it's not supposed to? Then it's time to trade in and trade up at Brandon Ford's Dog Days of Summer. They have the deals to put some bones back in your bank account, like full-size Broncos, $9 grand off MSRP. Loaded F-250s, just $54,995. The hottest deals are only at the Big Dog. Brandon Ford, America's largest volume Ford truck dealer. A portion of every sale will be donated to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit to support their big dogs.
Dave Poski's Performance Parts has been serving the Ohio River Valley and racers from all across the country since 1978, and they are the home to Hoosier Tire, Ohio Valley, and Octane Race Products. Stop in and shop all of the nation's top brands, including Winner's Performance, Willwood Brakes, Bill Stein Shocks, Hyperco Springs, Maxima Race Oils, Impact Safety Equipment, along with hundreds of others. You can also visit Dave Poski's Performance Parts online at Posky.com as we ship UPS and truck freight daily. Dave Poski's Performance Parts, serving the Ohio River Valley and racers all across the country since 1978.
We showed the world what it means to go big. Combining mini-mill technology with industry-leading talent, producing steel our customers need in an environmentally responsible way. Now, we're going even bigger, Big River Steel is building a second, highly sustainable and technologically advanced steel mill, allowing us to deliver even more of the sustainable steel needed to solve the challenges of tomorrow without sacrificing performance today. That's big picture steel.
Here at Tuners Inc., we see cars come in with 80 horsepower all the way up to 1,500 horsepower. The goal of almost every customer in here is to pick up performance in their vehicle. They want to gain horsepower, they want to gain torque. What we have found with E3 spark plug is the quality of the plug and the way it's built. E3 is our performance plug that's going to last longer.
E3 Diamond Fire technology maximizes the fuel burn for more power and better fuel efficiency.
E3 spark plugs. What are you running?
The University of Northwestern Ohio can turn your passion for all things diesel into a profitable career. On the shop floor, in our live engine rooms, or on the diesel dynos, 70% of your training is hands-on.
There's a good chunk of the time where you're just in the shop all day, and it's really enjoyable to apply what you just learned in the textbook.
From light duty to heavy duty, even specialty training in Mack and Volvo engines.
You can get pretty much a job anywhere if you're going to a top school for diesel, and they want you.
Get started today at unoh.edu.
The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. What are you running? By Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. And by General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. Now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final night of racing action for the 20th Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals. Here, presented by Your Life Iowa. Once again, we want to send a big thank you out to the folks from Your Life Iowa. If you or a loved one are facing problems with substance use, gambling, or mental health, Your Life Iowa offers 24/7 free and confidential support. Call, text, or chat at yourlifeiowa.org. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, it is time to get underway with opening ceremonies here this evening at the Knoxville Raceway. But before we bring on Mr. Bill LeHue from the Knoxville Church of Christ for this evening's invocation, we'll direct your attention to the video boards. As you know, last month we lost a gentleman that was a two-time Knoxville Late Model Nationals champion in Scott Bloomquist, and to pay tribute to him, the Knoxville Raceway has put together this piece on Scott Bloomquist. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Knoxville. I hear your applause. Thank you very much for that, and we certainly will miss Scott Bloomquist. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, we'll ask you to please rise and remove your caps. First, for this evening's invocation, as we welcome from the Knoxville Church of Christ, Bill LeHue.
Good evening, everyone. If you would please bow with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the freedom that we have to be able to come here to this establishment this evening. We are so grateful for the folks who serve our country. We pray that you'll be with them, keep them safe and courageous, Father. We're also grateful for the veterans that are here that has kept this nation safe for all of these years. They are truly heroes for us. Father, we pray for the safety of the race drivers and their crew this evening, as well as for all the fans, that they can have a wonderful time this evening. Those who are here working in this establishment to keep everything going smoothly, we pray for them and their safety as well. We love you, dear God, and we pray that all these people can get home to their destination safely this evening. We thank you for all your blessings. It's in Christ's name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Bill. At this time, please remain standing for our Star Spangled Banner tonight by Miss Maddie Cooper.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. How about it, race fans? Maddie Cooper, great job on the Star Spangled Banner. One question, Saturday afternoon, the sun's shining bright, the stars are shining bright. Knoxville, are you ready to race here tonight? DJ James Fast Chefs B Main sitting and staging. Take it away, guys.
Oh, brother. Thank you, Ben. Great job, Anthem, and the invocation here tonight as people continue to file in here in Knoxville. Again, we'll be back here in 2025, September the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Save those dates. We look forward to the 21st annual, but we got big business here tonight. $50,000 to win. This is the first step in. 15 laps, Fast Shafts, B-Main, Dustin Jarrett.
Top 6 drivers going to race their way into the show. Your pole sitter is going to be Decorah, Iowa's Tyler Bruning in the 16. And on his outside, looking to make this race for the first time in his first ever attempt out of Dade City, Florida, the 17 SS is Brendan Smith.
Jimmy Owens, he's a 2-time winner of this race. He's out of Newport, Tennessee, the Kohler Motorsports 20. And Justin Zeitner, he's been to the field twice in Knoxville. He is out of Malvern, Iowa in car 62.
2-time Tri-State Late Model Series champ Blair Nodorf out of Renner, South Dakota, going to start inside row 3. And on his outside, a driver that's made this race 3 times in his career out of Iowa City, Iowa, the 51 is Matt Furman.
Clay Harris, his first trip to Knoxville. He's second in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rookie of the Year chase. He's out of Jupiter, Florida. And Aaron Moran, he's out of Richmond, Missouri. He currently leads the Lucas Oil MLRA points. Rookie points.
Yes, Alvo, Nebraska's Dylan Silman going to roll from the inside of row number 5. And on his outside, a 2-time Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville National starter out of Brimfield, Illinois. The 48 is Tim Lance.
Row number 6 will have Corey Lawler. First time here, he's out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. He's 4th in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rookie of the Year chase. And the veteran Junior Coover out of Norfolk, Nebraska. He will start 12th in car number 10.
Jonathan Houston out of Columbus Junction, Iowa is on the inside of row number 7. And on his outside, the veteran out of Giltner, Nebraska, the 2008 Balver Bank Series champion, that is Al Humphrey. And your final starter out of Gretna, Nebraska, Dan Battaglia in the 45, and I believe that he is Jeremy Petty, we knew was a scratch, and I believe that Dan Battaglia is a scratch as well, James. So we will have 14 cars running 15 laps for 6 starting spots.
24 locked in after last night. Wow. Man, I can't wait. This is awesome. We're on the chip, aren't we? We're good to go, brother. This is Knoxville, man. This is Knoxville on a Saturday afternoon behind the Brandon Ford Pace truck. Again, 15 laps, top 6 advance.
About that throwback for Tyler Bruning in the 16. He's been fast this weekend, now just trying to race his way in the show, hoping the Lady Luck doesn't deal him a bad hand like he has seen a couple nights already this weekend. Jimmy Owens behind him. He's a 2-time winner of this race. Handful of drivers trying to make this race for the first time, including the 17 double S of Brendan Smith and the 76 of Blair Nodor.
Jimmy Owens had to rebuild basically the front end of that car last night, got up into the wall. All right, 15 laps at the Nutrient Ag Solutions start zone. The B-Maid for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. If you're not in the top 6 and you're not a provisional, you are done for the weekend. Dustin Jarrett off of turn 4 with Justin Clark waving the green flag.
They fire in the Nutrient Ag Solutions starting zone, and right away Tyler Bruning going to get the early hole shot down the front straightaway into 1 and 2, but he washes way up the racetrack, and that opens up the door for Brendan Smith on the inside. Bruning going to try to cross him over down the back straightaway. They momentarily go side by side through turns 3 and 4. Bruning will clear Brendan Smith at the end of lap number 1. Tyler Bruning leads your Fast Shafts B-Main.
Drivers all day worried about tire wear after last night. After the 25 lapper, Brendan Smith for the lead. And the rookie out of Dane City, Florida, and his father, Sean Smith, 17 double S into turn 3. Jimmy Owens up to 3rd. Right now that it's Nodor, Zeitner, and Furman. But off of turn 4, it's the 19-year. Is he 19 or 18? Brendan Smith out of Dane City, Florida, the lead.
He was 18. He may have turned 19 this summer.
He's still a teenager.
That's right.
Jarrett.
That's exactly right. Then the bearded one behind him in the 2nd spot, Tyler Bruning, as we look back now on the battle for the final transfer between Matt Furman, Aaron Morant, and Clay Harris. Furman right now in that 6th and final transfer spot. The drivers behind him trying to race their way in. Clay Harris gets a good run off corner 4 down the front straightaway, and Harris will clear Matt Furman and take away that final transfer in position number 6.
Talked to Clay Harris earlier, first time here. He said, don't give up on me in that Rookie of the Year chase, even though he's 115 behind Troutman. And the final remaining races will settle that $20,000 Riding Auto Parts top prize. Justin Zeitner still 5th. Matt Furman is 6th. Furman out of Iowa City, Iowa. He needed 2 previous races, and Clay Harris has cleared him. So Furman's got to get to the top 6 or he will be done for the weekend. But how about Brendan Smith and that Rocket XR 1.2 with the lead?
Hey, he's been pretty good here this weekend. He started up front and he's led laps in his heat race. It just hasn't matriculated through the way that it needed to. Right now, coming around to complete lap number 6, James, he's got 0.8 of a second on that throwback number 16 of Tyler Bruning. There's a good look at the Decorah, Iowa drivers wrap this weekend. Following him, Jimmy Owens right now in the 3rd spot. There's the 2-time Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals champ on your screen. He'll be followed by Blair Nodor, who currently runs in 4th, the 2-time Tri-State Late Model champion now in the 76. Justin Zeitner. There's a look at Snowdrift in the 76. Then it's a little ways back to the 62 of Justin Zeitner. Zeitner is going to pop into your screen here momentarily. There he is. He slides up the racetrack. He runs in the 5th spot, and just behind him, James, is your 6th place car of Clay Harris. Clay Harris in that final transfer, and he is stretched out to a 1.8 second advantage over the nearest competitor. It's Aaron Morant now in 7th.
Jonathan Houston slowing in turns 3 and 4 off the pace. Then we got one car in turn 4 off the pace.
Aaron Morant.
And Aaron Morant, he was running in 7th just outside the final transfer spot. So a Dave Warren Power Sports caution is out as Jonathan Houston calls it a race in 42. So Aaron Morant, a good year this year at the Lucas Oil MLRA, again leading the Rookie of the Year chase, the Richmond, Missouri driver. First time here, I believe, to Knoxville, DJ. And it looks like he will not be in tonight's finale.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Aaron Morant because he had worked his way up into the 7th position, so he was just 1 spot shy of a transfer. But the driver out of Richmond, Missouri right now, he's got 4 wins on the year, by the way, is He picked up 2 B-Mod wins and 2 late model wins. Picked up a super late model win at Federated Auto Parts I-55 back in July for his first career super late model win. Unfortunately, it looks like his night is going to come to a premature end.
Yeah, all 5 drivers running for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rookie of the Year chase. Again, we mentioned their first visit to Knoxville. Troutman is already in. Drake will start 22nd tonight. Brendan Smith leading this one. Also, Clay Harris runs in 6th. So if they can stay there, they will transfer. Ben Shelton.
Yeah, James, DJ and I were actually talking this morning at breakfast about Brendan Smith, and I would argue that he has come leaps and bounds since the start of the year. He's not had the best of luck here late in the year, but he has got a lot of speed, a lot more confidence, and hopefully we'll see him back out on the road in 2025. I think you're going to see some really good things out of that team.
Yeah, I've already had some drivers that inquired about 2025, and again, we're going to do the same program with Wayne Castleberry. $20,000 to win next year, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Rookie of the Year chase. Again, they get $10,000 in contingencies, Dustin.
Absolutely.
Very impressive.
Absolutely it is. 8 laps in the book, 7 laps remaining, and Brendan Smith brings him through the Nutrien Solutions restart zone. Second place, Tyler Bruning chooses the inside lane on this Delaware double file restart.
Turn number 1, Bruning takes a peek there. Jimmy Owens rolls to the outside. Hey, a big tip of the cap to Jimmy and his crew. They practically rebuilt that car last night. The front nose piece was stuck into the guardrail here last night. We got a battle for lead. How about the top shelf? Brendan Smith and Tyler Bruning. Jimmy Owens 3rd. 4th runs Zeidner. 5th is Matt Furman back to 6th at 51.
Yeah, Matt Furman has raced his way back into the show momentarily in snowdrift right there as well. There's the 51 of Furman. That is your 6th place car. On the outside looking in once again is Clay Harris in 6 and Tim Lance in the 48. Furman, a 3-time starter of the Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals, trying to race his way in and make it 4 here tonight, but he goes way high down in turns 1 and 2. Momentarily opens up the door for Clay Harris, and just as quickly as that door opens, shut your leader, Brendan Smith, hard in the wall down in turns 3 and 4, and that's going to bring out a Dave Warren Power Sports caution.
Man, Heartbreak Hotel for the Dade City, Florida youngster. Had a good hot rod. Had about a 0.7 of a second lead that last time around, but he's going to have to make repairs on that car. So
I kind of saw him in there. You know, he kind of threw his hands up, looked like a little bit like maybe he wasn't sure what happened or if something broke.
So he will go from starting 25th, not far back. He would be a provisional, Ben.
You know, and I think we saw something very similar happen to him at the Show Me 100. He was leading a B main and had a mechanical failure. Here he gets into the fence, and we talked about it. A lot of speed here in the second half of the year, but not a lot of luck. And, you know, I talked about Bob Pierce earlier and him talking about concern for tires and things like that. Bob also talked about, much like Eldora, when you crash here, it's never soft. And we saw Jimmy Owens get into the wall last night. You guys touched on that. They had to replace almost every bolt-on piece on that race car. The Brendan Smith crew, he's going to be eligible for provisional, but they're going to have to go to work on the 17.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. We do have a look at the FloRacing instant replay to see what happened to the 19-year-old out of Dade City, Florida. So there he is in turns 1 and 2. See, Tyler Bruning got a run on him, and Brendan Smith. Let's see what happens here as he goes down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Did he? Oh man, I don't. He broke something or a flat. Yeah, I broke a J-bar or something on the right side of that race car, because he went to go into the corner and the car did not. It went straight.
So the crew will have to get that car ready to go, because if Owens and Harris make it out, and Clay will now be 6th. So Owens and Harris make it, it would be Brendan Smith and Corey Lawler be your provisionals. But he'd rather, I mean, 25th to 30th, whatever, in that range is where he would have started anyway. But man, you hate to see somebody get their car tore up 5 laps from making his first Knoxville late model nationals.
Yeah, and to the point Ben made earlier too. I mean, unfortunately, that's been the story of Brendan Smith's weekend. He's shown incredible speed throughout the course of the weekend here in his first ever visit to the racetrack. Just unfortunately, things not working out for the second generation driver out of Dade City, Florida.
He's parked here on the main straightaway on the inside, so Ben will probably get word and find out what did happen to the 17 SS Ben.
And the way that car took off, I'll be interested. Of course, he's made contact with the wall, and that could impact things, but I'll be curious if that right front tire is up on that 17. Also, you talk about all the first-timers here with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, the Malvern Banks Series, 2 modified standouts, and Tom Berry Jr. and Dylan Thornton. They had never seen this place before today, too. So this year's Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals has brought a lot of first-timers here, and I know DJ's chomping at the bit. I would not be surprised in future years to see Dylan Thornton and Tom Berry Jr. here with super late models. In fact, Tom Berry Jr. told me they're working on trying to get a sponsor for that team to run a lot of super stuff in 2025.
Ben Shelton, funny you say that. I talked to TBJ earlier this week, and at one time there was actually a plan to put an open motor in that late model that he's driving, come here and run the Lucas Oil late model Knoxville Nationals, but it just wasn't quite meant to be. So I agree with that. Dylan Thornton, by the way, you mentioned him. He had actually an invitation, James, to run the Dirt Crown, the IMCA stock car portion of last night's show. Dilly wasn't quite able to make things work out there, but I think we'll be seeing, to Ben's point, more of him here later on. And Dylan Thornton's had a pretty good year in that Ricky and Brenda Kione 38T this season.
And right on cue, you can't make that up. Ricky Kai walks past me just as you say that. Talking to Dylan Thornton, he's now won the Super Nationals in 3 divisions. He is looking to line up a sport compact ride next year so he can try to get a 4th one. I love everything about it. So much talent. And, you know, you talk about Tom Berry Jr., the Oregon transplant now out here and racing out of Iowa. And then you also talk about Dylan Thornton, the California transplant, is having a little bit of trouble getting the 17 SS of Brendan Smith out of turn 3 and 4.
Ben, I'm a little surprised Derek Stewart not here this weekend. He's been running quite a bit with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and MLRA as well.
I feel like that's going to be a Kevin Kovac behind-the-scenes story, because Derek Stewart's season has been interesting. He went out and raced with the Lucas Oil Series in Ohio and Indiana out at Atomic in Brownstown, and then, you would expect him here, but hey, man, guys do have lives outside of racing, perhaps business deals. But when we saw Jonathan Houston was entered, we really thought his teammate, we would see him here in Stewart, but not so much, but perhaps in 2025. And again, you guys announced those dates earlier. September 18th and 20th, 2025. Make your hotel reservations before you leave town tomorrow.
I thought we was having a throwback to 1995 last night, Ben. We talked about Skip Arp winning the Southern All-Star race in South Carolina, but how about Billy Moyer, the Iowa native? We wish he was here this weekend, maybe 2025, but he got a win last night at Batesville, Arkansas, his home track.
I mean, all we needed was Wendell Wallace to win the modified feature down there last night.
Maybe Bill Fry will come out tonight and win it.
Get Bill Fry.
Oh, my.
Where is Johnny Verdon, the 1V, when you need Donnie Barnhart? Also, I want to give a shout out. Of course, we had the dirt track, the Carl Chevrolet dirt trucks here back on Thursday. And I noticed Billy Moyer in his Victory Lane interview said Carl Moyer, his uncle, a little under the weather. And, of course, Carl, a big part of the Carl Auto Group. And we wish Carl Moyer nothing but the best. Yeah,
Billy was the only driver to win all 3 nights here up until last year when Ricky Thornton Jr. did that.
We got to get him back here next year. I mean, he's up to 853. He's won 3 races this year.
Right, earlier this year when he was driving for Todd Cooney, they had planned to be here, but then he left Todd Cooney and got a car from Lance Landers and came home with a victory last night, and he's running in Batesville again tonight. So Brandon Smith's still ready to go up on the hook.
Let's get Billy Moyer and Jared Landers as meanwhile.
They may have time to get here and tag the tail of this B-Mate the way this is going.
The Smith crew down here, they're thinking about going down there and just picking the car up and carrying it back to the pit area.
I mean,
this is taking a hot minute. But I tell you what, guys, I do think track crew's done a great job today, starting in the afternoon, and it's been a combination between overcast and sun, but this wind is the biggest issue on days like this, and I think we're going to have a nice racetrack. They've worked all weekend, and the past 2 nights, we know this, we had 2 different conditions from Thursday to Friday, and if we get somewhere a little bit in the middle, I think we could have a really good 75-lapper tonight.
Ben, you've been here with me several times to do this race, and we mentioned it earlier. Nobody has ever led every lap of the main event. In fact, the average lead change is 5. Simply incredible here at Knoxville. You could be leading 1 lap, and the next lap you're running 5th.
No, this is a tough place to lead, and the grooves change so much during the race. And I know a lot of the drivers have talked about they feel like the configuration's a little bit different this year, but it's tough because things happen. 75 laps, it is a long time around this racetrack, and Tyler Bruning probably feels like it was about 3 laps too long a few years ago as he came so painfully close to becoming another Iowa driver to win this event.
Jimmy Owens got a bumper still stuck in the guardrail, or what? I see movement.
We've done it.
I see movement. That was some really good TV time for Your Life Iowa, by the way, who is the presenting sponsor here.
If that's been a sprint car caution, they could have replaced the whole front axle in that time.
Replace the entire car.
They got a lot of work to do on that car.
Yeah, flat right rear for sure on the 17. And again, to Ben's point, you don't know if that happened before the caution flag or once you get into the wall. But
talked about Thorne had 2 right side flats the other night. He ran over something on the racetrack that ended his night. As you see, the 17 SS, the Dade City, Florida driver. Is his dad here, Sean?
He is, and he has walked roughly 87 miles waiting for this car to get back to the pit area. As I'm going to tell you right now, again, you don't know if it was a contact with the wall, but right front, definitely some issues with the right front of that 17. You got to wonder if he lost that tire going into the corner. It's hard to say as hard a contact he's made with the wall. Also, I got a note down here. Derek Stewart had a motor expire on him. Didn't have a motor for this weekend. That's why he's not here. And then one other thing I want to notice, last night's feature winner, we heard Bobby Pierce mention in Victory Lane, Larry Hink with Rio Grande Waste Services. I think Bobby's uncle. He has been very under the weather, but last night he was able to watch the race. He's doing much better, and we can't wait to have Larry back at the racetrack with us. And just glad that he is doing better, as members of our racing family have undergone some tough times. And I tell you what, talk about tough times. They have got a lot of damage on the right front of this race car, and I'm going to be curious if they can get it fixed or if they perhaps have to go to a backup for tonight's main event, as the Rocket One team down here looking at the frame on this race car. We'll see if Brendan Smith can get it fixed for the feature.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Going back to Green Flag Racing in our Fast Shaps B main, 10 in the books, 5 to go. Tyler Bruning will now inherit the race lead, and that reshuffles the field with, again, the top 6 transferring into tonight's main event. So it's Bruning out front. There's the 62 of Zeitner in second. Jimmy Owens is third. Matt Furman now up to fourth. Blair Nodor fifth. And all eyes on the battle for the final transfer is Clay Harris. Full send into 3 and 4.
He sent that one to Oskaloosa, even though it's the other way, right? As they go into turn number 1, Jimmy Owens is back down the back straightaway. He's right there trying to close on Zeitner, but it is all Tyler Bruning, the Decorah, Iowa driver, the race shop about 3 hours north of Knoxville. Heads into turn number 1 in that Bruning Rock Products entry. Again, 3 laps to go. It's Bruning, Zeitner, Owens, Furman, Harris, and Nodorf. How about Dylan Silman doing double duty tonight, trying to get his first race here in Knoxville, and so is Tim Lance, who's been in it twice.
That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th on your screen. Only the top 6 transfer. 2 laps to go. Dylan Silman pedaling hard in the 35, trying to grab the final transfer in the final 2 laps of this one. Matt Furman in the 51, Blair Nodorf in the 76, and that's going to allow Dylan Silman to get a good run, James. Coming around to the Barrett's Performance, 1 to go.
It's all Bruning, Zeitner, Owens. Those are solid. 4th remains Clay Harris. 5th, Furman. 6th is Nodorf. Keep an eye on the last spot. Final lap. The final spot before the provisionals into the Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals. Bruning wins. Zeitner's going to be second. Owens is third. Dustin third on back. Who's it going to be?
It's up for grabs. We got the camera glued to it. Nodorf. Harris is going to get it, and then Nodorf and Furman. Those are your transfer cars. And Dylan Silman, as long as everybody crosses the scales and makes weight, Dylan Silman will have to wait another year before he can make the Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals. Unofficially, Matt Furman finishes 6th, Blair Nodorf finishes 5th, Clay Harris was 4th, 3rd was